All right, everyone, it begins. We're not even close to the midterms yet, and they're already talking about the next presidential elections. Link in the description archived, of course. They're practically begging Kamala Harris to run for the presidency again. This would be a drastic mistake by the Democratic Party. There is no possible way in which she would be able to win against J.D. Vance, who is the presumptive Republican nominee. It's the 0% chance. I can guarantee you that up front. If it's Vance v. Kamala, unless Vance totally derps out and chooses the worst running mate in human history, I mean, he could choose, Fred the Midget over there with a mental disorder and probably still win. Unless he completely derps out, he would win handily. Kamala Harris is dead weight on the Democratic Party. They're still talking about her. They're still saying, I mean, and she's actually optioning. She's like, well, I haven't made really my decision yet or anything like that. I don't know. I mean, I'll talk about it later. These are weasel words. When people that are involved, especially with the law, use weasel words, it's because they want to be non-committal. It means that she wants to run. She desperately, desperately wants the presidency. She is an egotistical, cold-hearted bastard who pretends to be a retard and, passes because she is one. That's basically what Kamala Harris is. The Democratic Party would be absolutely insane to run her. It would be insane to run any of the people that are, sort of at the front of the pack. You got Kamala, number one. She's effectively the front. I'm sorry, I can't even say it without laughing. Kamala Harris is effectively the Democratic frontrunner. Then you've got Newsom. He's sort of the runner-up, the waiting in the wings dude. Buttigieg has not signaled any which way, whether he's going to attempt to run at all. I would say based on the East Palestine baggage as transport secretary, that would not work, especially when the left viscerally hates him for unknown reasons. I think it's because he's a white male. The fact that he's gay no longer gives him his id poll pass, I suppose. I don't think that would work. I think he would do better than Newsom or Harris, but I don't think that he could win. So there's your front starting line, basically. Imagine it's a football game and all the people in the front line are retarded. That's basically the Democratic Party right now. On the Republican side, you do have some people with genuine talent. Not just J.D. Vance. He knows how to lean into the memes. He understands meme culture. He seems like a likable dude. I would vote for him. Then you've got people like Tulsi Gabbard and Elise Stefanik, who are also, at the very least, intelligent. They have principles. So the Republican starting line, even if it's not necessarily the A team, at the very least, they're not wearing helmets and knee pads all of the time. The Democratic Party looks a little bit different. Kamala Harris has to have an ass pad too, just in case she falls on her butt. Uh, please, I beg of the Democrats, please. Beyond anything else that I've ever wished for, I wish for one thing from you. Please run Kamala Harris in 2028. I will laugh my goddamn ass off. I'll be the one having to wear the ass pad at the end of the day. Because this would be such a monumental, stupid mistake. It would be so monumentally stupid, it would be impossible to do anything else. My daily political updates will devolve into me just chuckling to myself for 10 minutes or something like that. Uh, you gotta be kidding me. Are you really that crazy? She runs in the first time, and she doesn't win in the primary. She gets absolutely crushed by Tulsi, who leaves the party. Not that she wasn't crushing herself before that happened anyway, and I told people that at the time. So then she ends up becoming running mate. Then she gets her chance to run, but only because the old white dude decided to stand down. And then she blames everyone else for her problems. The DNC didn't back me enough. The DCCC only gave me $1 billion for my campaign and stuff like that. People didn't come out enough to vote. Let me write a book about it, and it'll sell a lot of copies in China. Now, it's possible that she's crazy enough to run again. Dude, this historically speaking, if you already lost a couple of times, the third time is not a charm within presidential politics. Can you find me any examples in history where that has actually been the case. I think Trump is the only one that bucked the trend, and that was non-consecutive. And that was only because Kamala was such a shit poor candidate that she couldn't even do a candidacy thing. She couldn't even run. Like, yeah, if you spend all of your time blaming others for your failures, then you're not going to address your own failures, now are you? No, you're too focused on other people. That's Kamala Harris' problem. She feels entitled to the office. The Democrats would be wildly insane to try to run Kamala Harris in the upcoming presidential election. But keep in mind, again, we've got a midterm in there, actually, between now and the next presidential election. People seem to be ignoring it. Unfortunately, much to the detriment of Republicans because they're ignoring its very existence and not organizing enough. This is why you're probably going to lose the House. That's probably the one example for the Democrats. The American people have given us a mandate. So it doesn't really matter who we run, right? Yeah, we can just screw up the system and blame Trump in the meantime, and then we'll, run against the administration since presumptively the nominee will be part of it. That's basically their strategy. Their strategy is more related to the midterms than to the general election, believe it or not. They want to take the midterms, lock everything down, keep Trump from doing anything meaningful. The economy will continue to be overcooked. The immigration crisis will continue to be an issue, and so on forth, so that they can create baggage artificially to weigh in on J.D. Vance, who again is presumptively going to be the next candidate. I would advise the Republicans of something. If the Democrats manage to overrun the House, and there's a good chance that they will, while I like J.D. Vance, I think he's hysterical. I mean, he leans into the memes, he likes to make them, and it's all very funny. That's humorous. But that's just red meat to the base. Go with Gabbard. That would be my strategy. I would cycle him out for Gabbard and have him as running mate yet again. Be like, hey, yeah, he's a good vice president. He's waiting in the wings. He's quite clearly solid. He's capable of doing the job. If he were president, like if Trump dropped dead tonight and J.D. Vance were sworn in, I would have no concerns whatsoever. I would think, okay, we've got a sane person who's reasonable leading the country. I would think that he would do a pretty good job, actually. I mean, until the Democrats probably take the House. It'd be a miracle if the Republicans retain it. Historically speaking and situationally speaking, it's the GOP. They have a tendency to have problems. But I would put Gabbard in there. I would think that Gabbard would win. And certainly against the army of morons on the other side. They're going to trot out a dark horse candidate at some point. They're going to at least try to Obama it up. Whether or not they're successful, though, remains to be seen. If you're facing off against gay Dracula or meth dude or, the hysterical chick, I would think that Tulsi Gabbard would probably win against them. I mean, she beat the shit out of Kamala Harris in a debate before, so she could probably do it again, believe it or not. I think that that would be the safe bet, assuming that the midterms go awry. Because otherwise, they're going to be running against the administration, so anyone directly within that executive construct is going to have that baggage. Gabbard is more off to the side. Yes, she is a member of the administration, but she is less visible. And I think there's probably a reason that she's staying less visible. I think that it's for presidential purposes. And I wish her well. I would love to see a President Tulsi Gabbard. She'd do a good job, I think. Yeah, bilateral support. She used to be a Democrat, then said fuck the Democratic Party because they're nuts. So she's got experience on both sides of the aisle. She's relatively young. She's very, very well spoken, exceptional debater. Same with JD, by the way. JD Vance. I mean, I'm not throwing him under the bus. If he's the candidate, I'm going to vote for him. Almost certainly. But yeah, I mean, the Republicans have to scramble because Trump can no longer run for the presidency. He's going to be out of office. He can supply air support, so to speak, but he can't do anything beyond that. The Democrats, their air support is hang gliders, apparently. That appears to be the case. That's about all. Peace out.